This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
People love chips and salsa.
It's time. All right. Hey, welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show. Sorry about that. This is Alice Lara, and I'm so glad that you tuned in. Noticeably absent is my partner in radio crime, and that is Don Jorge. He had to be home. He's waiting on. He's getting his water heater fixed, and so he had to wait for the water heater guy. So he's not here. So I'm sorry about that, but he will be back next week here at 4 o'clock. I do have a guest. I think he's running late. That's Sergio Arellano. He should be here. Actually, he's more like a co-host, and hopefully he'll be here soon. I'm a little concerned because I haven't heard from him. And if not, well, it's going to be me and you, okay? It's good. Chipsters, thank you so much for all your support. Really, really appreciate it. You know, every Tuesday we're here at 4 p.m. And the reason the Chips and Salsa Show even exists, we've been doing it now, if you can believe it, almost 6 years. We started October 2014. In fact, I want to give kudos to the man behind the glass. That's Julian Allison. Woo, yeah! He is owner, operator, founder, creator of Central City Radio. And you're probably watching us on Talk Central Phoenix. So Central City Radio, that's a whole digital online network. And their talk venue is Talk Central Phoenix. So that's probably what you're watching us on or listening to us on. And also, if you haven't done it yet, please get the free app. It's Central City Radio, because you know we're always fighting Facebook and YouTube and everybody else out there. So if you just have the app, it's going to make it really, really simple. Just load it on your phone. It's available whether you have a regular smartphone, iPhone, or the Android like I do, and just download the app for free, and you can listen to us anytime. So I really encourage you to do that, and if you pass along that as well, that would be fantastic. I'm going to go through some announcements and things that I have to have, but I do want to give kudos. You know, the opening song that you hear every day, every time we're on, I should say. Maybe you do hear every day. Maybe you're always tuning into a Chips and Salsa show every day. And that comes from my nephew, David Beasley, and he wrote that song for us long ago, almost 6 years ago. We're going to have to do something special for our October celebration, and we'll figure that out. But he wrote that song, and it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's about, you know, I love, actually it's in Spanish, yo quiero sincero, I think it is. It's I love cowbell or something. I probably have that term wrong. But thank you, David Beasley. Also, our logo, our wonderful Chips and Salsa logo, where George and I are in the molcajete, that was created by my great niece, Monica Lara, and you can find her on Facebook, Monica Lara Art. She she's very talented and does a lot of great things. Hire her. She can create a caricature for you. So we really appreciate that. We have a lot of support. We're very lucky and fortunate to do that. But the main reason that our show actually exists, the Chips and Salsa Show, and we just keep it going and going, is because, you know what? Because you're brown, it doesn't mean that you are a Democrat or a liberal. And I used to be, okay? I admit it. When I was a long time ago in college, and I thought I was a Democrat, and I was pretty liberal. I was actually even, I don't like to use the term they like to use, pro-choice, but I was actually that for a while. But now I'm not. I am a conservative, very conservative Republican, and I'm happy to be here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. So let's get with the announcements, okay? I want to tell you that today's Tuesday. On Thursday, we'll be back at the Latinos for Trump Center, and Julian's going to be down there too. He's taking the Central City Radio set up there, and we're going to do a show from there. That night, if you can make it out there, they're really going to have some great speakers. It starts at 5 p.m. The Latinos for Trump Center is at 2070 East Baseline, and they're going to have talk about child trafficking, super, super serious topic. And my good friend Darren Birch, who we had on last week, he's the retired Phoenix cop. who wrote the book Twisted But True. He was going to come speak, but he's not going to be able to make it, so he's trying to come up with a replacement, which will be hard to do, but it is a Support the Blue night. So if you can come, please come. If you're a police officer, we'd love to have you. Maybe you'd like to even speak. But come on down. It starts at 5. And usually they have pizza. They have some food. There's always a lot of really good people. You'll make new friends. And it's very easy to find. So it's 2070 East Baseline. And that is really close to the Bank of America. You can find us. There's Trump signs on there because it is a Latinos for Trump Center. If you can't make it that night, you know what? Just go by during the week. Because I think she's usually there. She has it open. And I think they run like probably from 9 to 7 each night at least. But you can get Trump paraphernalia. You can get this beautiful sign, Latinos for Trump. You can get all kinds of Trump Pence signs. The local candidates that are running. You know, whatever you need. If she doesn't have it, ask her. She could probably get it for you. Or there's another place that I can tell you can go. And I'm going to tell you about that right now. The other thing that I did this weekend, and unfortunately, I invited Julian to go with me, but he couldn't go. Everybody's busy, okay? But on Saturday, they opened up, it was a grand opening in Chandler for the APA, and that's the Asian Pacific Americans for Trump Center. And it was really cool. Our good friend Farhana Shifa was there, and I met a lot of really cool people. Some of them I knew, but they had ice cream there. And they had some good speakers. Kimberly Yee, who is our treasurer of Arizona, she was there, and she gave a nice speech. And I think there were like at least 50, 60 people there. It was really cool. I shared some of the pictures on site. But if you live in the Chandler area, you can also stop by there. They've got a lot of cool stuff. They've got plenty of signs. They've got Asian Pacifics for Trump, Asian Pacific Americans, I should say, for Trump. And they've got some Latinos for Trump signs there too as well, and all kinds of good information. So please go ahead and support them and go out there and tell your friends. You don't have to be, just like you don't have to be Latino to listen to this program, you don't have to be Asian Pacific to go there. I also want to make an announcement too that the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, guess what? They are going to have their meeting at the Latinos for Trump Center. And that's going to be on September 29th. I know today's only September 1st, but I want you to get that on your calendar because it's going to be at the Latinos for Trump Center, and we're going to be able to record video testimonials for President Trump and the Republican Party. The business meeting starts at 6:30, and we'll keep you posted on this. And let's see if they have the speaker on here for the agenda. Oh, yeah, this is going to be really good. They're going to have Andrea Kadar, and she's going to talk about high-potency recreational marijuana legalization in Arizona. Is Prop 207, the Smart and Safe Arizona Act, is it a good idea for Arizona? So that was our first segment. Hopefully Sergio will be here by the time he joins for the second one, but don't go away. We're going to guac on some more. I'm Alice Lara here on this Chips and Salsa show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Don't go away.
The Valley's home for podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix. Get the app on iTunes or Google Play.
My name is Jana Jackson, and I want to be your next state representative. I'm running because I know we can do better in our district. We need fresh, strong, conservative leadership with energy to make an impact to ensure our district will prosper and our freedoms and values are protected in the decade ahead. As a teacher, adjunct professor, aerospace education specialist working throughout the United States for NASA, curriculum developer for the United States Navy and Marines, and working as a doctoral graduate student, interning for both the House and the Senate in Tallahassee, Florida. These experiences have taught me how important it is to become a listener with eyes, ears, and heart. I bring the mindset and responsibility as a representative to the voters here in our state. As a mother of 7 adult children and 2 grandchildren, I understand the challenges facing families today, and I will be your advocate. Every child should have access to the best education options, and parents should decide which is the best for their children, not bureaucracy. I fully believe in our founding fathers, the Bill of Rights, and the conservative principles that make this country and our state great. I will fight for pro-life principles, protect our Bill of Rights without waiver. Together, let's keep LD 28 the best district in the state. I'm Jana Jackson, and I approve this message.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
When you hear the Wayne Allen Root Show,
For once, Reuters done some actual journalism on Hunter Biden. Hunter never actually worked in Ukraine. When he worked for Burisma, making $50,000 a month.
then you are home. The Valley's news talk and podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix.
And now back for more chips and salsa.
Well, sir, while I may not agree with what you say, I'll defend to the death your right to say it.
I'm Alice Lara here. We're here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Noticeably absent is my partner in radio crime, Don Jorge, also known as George Ortiz. So I can't play senior charades with him today, but that's okay because I am here to continue with the Chips and Salsa show. So last segment, I told you my good buddy Sergio Arellano was going to be here, and I was kind of concerned about him, so... all right, so I did hear from him, and the reason he's not here is it looks like he had a car accident. I hope he's okay. I'm trying to confirm that. I think so. So anyway, let's all go ahead and say a prayer for him. I think he's all right because he was able to text me, and it looks like he's giving the police report right now. Man, be careful out there. There's some crazy, crazy drivers out there, and there's like an atmosphere of tension that we're in. And, you can feel it when you're out there. So please, just kind of, relax, pay attention. Don't make that call. If you have to talk to someone and you're driving, I know everybody has hands-free, but you know what? Don't do it unless you absolutely have to. It's an emergency. I'm getting to where I've got the hands-free and it's very convenient. And once in a while, it's an emergency. You have to talk to somebody maybe. But if you don't have to, don't do that because you really have to pay attention to your driving. And so it looks like somebody ran a red light and said I'm so glad. I hope he's okay. I'm sure he's fine. I don't want to worry anybody because, like I said, he texted me, so I'm sure he's fine. All right, so speaking about a tense atmosphere, for those of you chipsters and anybody else that has discovered us on Facebook, I just came across a clip. I think the Blaze sent it out. And, right after the conventions, especially the Republican convention, the Democrats, the radical left, decided, whose fault it is, all these mobs and all these terrible things that are happening? They decided now they're going to blame the Republicans. They're going to blame specifically POTUS, President of the United States, President Trump. Well, I want to take you back in time because this is a really good clip. And I want you to listen to this. So Julian was kind enough to get this ready for us. And just give a listen to it. Pay attention, okay?
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
This way. That's it right there, pulling up.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore boy anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
So all I can say is, wow, that's a really good compilation that they put together. And for those of you out there, and it's most of you that listen to the show, we follow politics, and our memories, we remember all of that. The CNN's in there, Nancy Pelosi, and the CNN guy that says, who said, what does he say, Julian? Who said the protesters are supposed to be peaceful? Well, yeah, peaceful assembly, that's what it means. You can protest, and that's great. First, I'm all about the First Amendment. Go out there, say what you want to say. You can curse, you can do whatever you want to. You can say it, don't yell fire in the theater, whatever. But it has just gone too far. And I really think the left is going to be paying for this. The president just calls it as he sees it. And here's proof. Here's proof of so many people. And this didn't start yesterday. Maxine Waters is over there. Get in their face and tell them they're not welcome here. Well, they're always saying the Republicans, we're the mean ones. We're the awful ones. But I haven't, I'm sure there are some people on the right that maybe aren't as nice as they're supposed to be. I've seen awful stuff on Facebook. People get angry. People get emotional. But the behavior, it always reminds me, I don't have kids, but I've done a lot of babysitting. I got a lot of little nieces and nephews that I used to take care of, and I know Julian will agree with me on this. You rein the kids in because they have to know how to behave and how to act civilized. But it's almost like all of that is thrown out the window now. When Darren was here, Darren Birch, our veteran police officer last week, and I was asking him, I said, why is it okay now for these people just to take over the streets and just do whatever they want to? And a lot of these cities in I'm not telling you anything that you haven't heard before, but it's like it's okay to take over and just do whatever you want to. No, the president, he calls himself a law and order. I almost said odor. Law and order president, because he really is trying to have law and order. And the left always tries to take over these issues as if they're doing it. But they didn't say anything about it hardly at all at their convention. And now all of a sudden, when they see the polls and the president's doing a little better, the president's got a little bump, and now it's an issue. And someone else did. I'm sorry, I apologize, because I listen to so much talk radio, the talk radio junkie that I am. And it might have been on Rush Limbaugh's show. In fact, I'm pretty sure today. And he said, the president responds, and he does it in a very calm fashion. But he just says the facts. Here's what happens. And I can respect that, because you can make a lot of impact when you do that. So I wanted to play that clip. It's available on our Facebook site. You can go to our Facebook site. It's Chips, letter N, Salsa Show. And I've shared it. I think it's also shared on the Talk Central site as well. By the way, please like these, Talk Central Phoenix, Chips and Salsa Show. Do that. We just posted something the other day. I posted the story about the CDC and COVID. And it was a national story, but Facebook said, no, that's fake news, and we're taking it off. So what they do when that happens typically is we are restricted, so we're not getting access. So if you are a follower of the Chips and Salsa Show, you can help us by sharing these things or asking people to like our site. But I'm getting very tired, and Julie and I talk about this, George and I talk about this, and I'm cool with things if they're reality. We have a lot of people that follow us, and they're on the other side, they're on the left side, and they might bring to light something and question us, and that's okay. I think that's cool. I think that's healthy, because we should be able to defend our position. So if that happens, that's great. Bring it. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. I also want to take a chance here. I have a couple minutes, Julian, probably. But a lot of times people, I am on quite a few Facebook pages, plus I work full time and I'm pretty active politically, as is George. So you might have responded to something and I didn't get back to you on it. And then like 2 or 3 days later, does this happen to you? 2 or 3 days later, I'll see it. I'm like, oh man, and somebody else responded to it. But I can't keep up anymore. It literally is just so much. So I give you my email. Even my email is getting totally loaded down. But you can always email me. It's a really easy one. It's just my name, Alice Lara, conventional spelling Alice, Lara, @hotmail.com. Because if I haven't responded to you, it's probably because it's just too full and I haven't gotten to you. But you always feel free to just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Even my email. Do you know my email got so full, Julian, that what happened was somebody said, well, I sent you something. I said, no, I didn't get it. So I look and it's just about full. So I'm clearing it out. Boom, it pops up. I don't know if you guys have that same issue, but I apologize because, you would think in this age of communication to be really easy, but it doesn't. It seems like it's more difficult for things to get there. But I really want to talk to you, and George is the same way too. So just keep trying, keep messaging me, and it might take me a while, but if I can and when I can, I will get back to you. And what I'll try to do, since I'm kind of alone here and I'm not used to doing the show alone, but if you want to go on Facebook, I'm going to try to do that. And if you have a comment, then I can respond to your comment. You can go to the Chips and Salsa show. I think that's where I'll go. And I just wanted to go and tell you there's a lot of good stuff. We try to post things there that you may not be able to see otherwise. And you might say, well, I already saw that. I saw it 2 or 3 times. Well, maybe you did. But that's okay. Because if you did you share it? Because maybe you didn't share it. And what I want to also tell you is there's an argument to be made to try to reach out to somebody who maybe you think or know doesn't think like you. Because this election is so important. We're all about Trump 2020 here. I know. And some people think we're nuts. And maybe we are nuts for following so much politics. I don't know. But go ahead and I want to challenge you to think about someone who maybe doesn't always think the way that you do. And you know that, okay? But they're a loved one or they're a close friend. And I think Darren had a really good point last week. He said, just ask them and let them explain to you why they think the way they do. And let them have their peace. And then talk to them in a civil tone. And at the end, you may agree to disagree. But isn't it worth having the conversation? Some people you can't. Some you might run the risk of losing them as a friend, and you certainly don't want to upset family. If family starts, if they disagree with me, I don't argue with them on Facebook because they're my family. I don't want to do that. So anyhow, we're going to come back for our third segment. Thanks for hanging in there with me, and I'm going to go to Facebook during the segment and see if you guys are talking to me. This is Alice Lara. I'm here flying solo on the Chips and Salsa show on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. I'll be back to walk on some more with you. Don't go away.
This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
Dudes and dudettes need to chill out. Unleash the power of nature with handcrafted hemp extract. Quality you can feel with passion for the planet. Get your herbal relief today at emeraldsunfarms.com.
Kubo, what have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in a bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
My name is Jana Jackson, and I want to be your next state representative. I'm running because I know we can do better in our district. We need fresh, strong, conservative leadership with energy to make an impact to ensure our district will prosper and our freedoms and values are protected in the decade ahead. As a teacher, adjunct professor, aerospace education specialist working throughout the United States for NASA, curriculum developer for the United States Navy and Marines, and working as a doctoral graduate student, interning for both the House and the Senate in Tallahassee, Florida. These experiences have taught me how important it is to become a listener with eyes, ears, and heart. I bring the mindset and responsibility as a representative to the voters here in our state. As a mother of 7 adult children and 2 grandchildren, I understand the challenges facing families today, and I will be your advocate. Every child should have access to the best education options, and parents should decide which is the best for their children, not bureaucracy. I fully believe in our founding fathers, the Bill of Rights, and the conservative principles that make this country and our state great. I will fight for pro-life principles, protect our Bill of Rights without waiver. Together, let's keep LD 28 the best district in the state. I'm Jana Jackson, and I approve this message.
When you hear the Angie Austin and Michael Pelka Show.
People I know who have their seedlings started for the vegetable garden.
Yeah, me too.
If you can't grow your own food, that seems to be a little bit intrusive.
Then you are home. The Valley's News Talk and Podcast. Talk Central Phoenix.
Okay, so I'm really confused because, my dad's Latino and my mom is white, so does that mean I can only listen to, half of Chips and Salsa?
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard anyone say about anything.
I don't know, Julian, those rejoiners, we keep using them, but I still like them. Am I nuts? It's crazy. Hey, we are back for the second half of the Chips and Salsa Show. We're here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. In fact, if you like to do something that we do, get a little show, maybe you aren't into politics, but maybe you are, you have another interest. You have different things to talk about. Contact Julian. He's always looking to have new shows on here. Very affordable. And one of the shows, and is it on Talk Central Phoenix, The Legends of Radio? Or is that on the music side? The Legends? W Cool Radio FM. There's some really good stuff. Like I say, get the app, and you're going to be pretty impressed. And it's a good alternative. Because you get tired of the same old stuff that's out there. So why not try something new, something different? Why not? Give it a shot. So as I told you before, my partner in Radio Crime, George, he's not here today. He was busy. Don Jorge. He'll be back next week. But you can catch us on Thursday. We'll be at the Latinos for Trump Center, and that's at 2070 East Baseline. We'll be there Thursday night. We usually like to get there a little early, 4:30 or so, and they start things out at 5. Julian's going to be there. You can come by and meet Julian. Maybe you want to talk to him about doing a show at that time. Maybe you want to see what prices are and different things like that. We invite you. You don't have to be Latino to be there. It doesn't matter. We appreciate if you were a Trump supporter, but you know what? Even if you're not a Trump supporter, come by and we'd love to talk to you. Maybe we can turn you into one. And if we can't, well, at least we can try. What do you say? All righty then. So I just want to give you an update. I quickly spoke to Sergio Arellano in between the break there, and he is doing okay. Apparently he was hit. His car was hit. A red light runner. My goodness gracious. And he's all right. His neck hurts a little bit. His car, I think, got messed up, but he's doing okay. He's all right, and I'm so glad for that. I have personal experience with that, unfortunately, about 3 years ago. And a red light runner T-boned me and pushed me into another car. In fact, thank God everybody was okay. Nobody was hurt. And I think the little gal that hit me, I believe that she was texting. But be careful out there. That's all I can say. Because I think you have, that's, now that we're getting a lot more traffic since the C-19 virus, the China virus, there's more traffic on the road. In fact, on the way here, I saw the freeway, and I had not seen it backed up like that in a long time. Don't you think we're getting more traffic, Julian? I think it's there. But so just be careful out there, please. You know what? You really just slow down and pay attention. That's all you can do. So what I thought I would do, since it's me going solo, there's always plenty to talk about. I think we have about 65 days or so before the election, and we're all focused. We're all focused on that election, and not just even on the national election. We've got some really important state elections as well. In fact, if you go to our Chips, Letter N Salsa Show Facebook page, I hope that you do, and I hope the posts there are relevant and they're interesting. If they're not, let me know. Tell me what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of, whatever. But one of the things that we posted too is our good friend Jana Jackson. And Jana, she is running in Legislative District 28. As I said before, maybe you don't live in Arizona, but you probably have a similar setup in your state. But the state of Arizona has 30 legislative districts, and each one has 1 senator and 2 state representatives. So Jana, she is a teacher, Jana Jackson, not Janet, Jana, Jana, and she's running in Legislative District 28. So we posted some pictures because she is a busy lady. You hear her ads here on this radio station, and she was canvassing. So if you don't know what that means, that simply is you go out and you knock on doors. And in today's world, you have to do it a little bit differently. Maybe you wear a mask so people aren't comfortable, and you take your sanitizer, you stay away, but it still can be done. And she's doing it. And she has a picture here of her with President Trump, Black Voices for Trump. And in fact, we're probably at the Latinos for Trump Center. We're going to have another night of the Black Voices for Trump. I live in the South Mountain area, South Phoenix, so we have a really high concentration of minorities there, Latinos like myself, and also the Black population is big too. But believe it or not, I mean, there are a lot of supporters. We really are. So we have different things that we post. Oh, this is really cool too. Now, I think this is in Spanish, so especially if you speak Spanish, you will enjoy this. But I posted this, and it's Hispanics' turn on Univision. And this guy, and what's cool about it, it might be in Spanish, but even if you don't speak Spanish, when you watch it, they have the English translation. So, for the sake of the future of our children's well-being, I might play a little bit of this for you. So what it is the protester says, this is how you let the fake news media know. This is how you let them know that we're the majority. But we're not silent. We're the majority. We're here. And we're here to stay. So Mario Vallejo, I was making him transgender there, Univision 23. The protest was carried out per organizers in order to demand that Univision, as well as all other media outlets, do journalism instead of activism, says the statement. So the protester says, have a sense of shame. Show what is really happening here, because we're going to put it out on social media. There are thousands of cars and people here. This is like they do these parades, and I'm always amazed. And they're doing them everywhere. You don't see them necessarily because the mainstream medium doesn't always cover it. I'm going to go ahead and just play a little bit of it. I think it can pick up over the microphone. It's in Spanish, but I already told you what he's saying.
Somos la mayoría, pero no silenciosa. Somos la mayoría.
The majority.
Estamos aquí, nos vamos a quedar.
So the protesters, this is television, was carried out per the organizers. But that's just one of the things that you'll see if you go to our Facebook site, Chips, Letter N Salsa Show. And, we follow, this gal is great. McEnany. She is awesome. So those are some of the things that we care. Oh, there's also, we put the video about the vandal who burned the Montanas. Did you see that, Julian? So somebody comes up, they have Trump flags in their front yard. And there's, everybody, people have cameras now. So I don't even know why somebody would even try to do that, because nothing's hardly private. And they burn the flags, and there's kids sleeping inside the house. the gall that people have to do all these different things. Here's another story you have. Judge tosses 50,000 absentee ballot requests after the commissioner fills out the voter information. And these are just all kinds of different things that we have to do. There's a China story. China has built 260 new re-education camps. So I want you to just kind of think about this as your source. These are stories that aren't necessarily carried by the mainstream media, but we want you to be sure that you see them and can read them and share them if you will. Maybe you have stories. A lot of times you'll see what I'll do is I'll post stories and I'll say, thank you so-and-so Chipster for sharing this story with us, because there's things that I don't even catch too. There's so much going on. Or somebody will tell me about something that happened. There's a really good one. Julian said he had seen it. It looks like it happened at a Quick Trip. So it's like you picked and I'm going to give kudos to Joe Nebhan. And the only reason I don't share this one is he sent it to me in an email. And sometimes those videos, you can't share them. I'm going to have to ask Julian to show me how to do that and how to share them on the Facebook page to do that. That's like you can forward them in an email. But what happens, it says you guy picked the wrong redneck. So there's a dude and he is, like I say, it appears to be like a Quick Trip. And somebody's videotaping him and the guy's all trying to be all badass and everything. Oh, rah, rah, rah. And he walks over. He happens to be black, okay? I think they said he was with the Black Lives Matter movement. BLM. We need to come up with a code word for that. Do you have a code word for that yet, Julian? I don't have anything. But so I'll just call it I almost want to call it the BM movement. Maybe that's better. So the guy's there and we'll call him a redneck because that's how the video portrays him. And he's kind of, you could say a bubba, whatever. He's a big guy. And he's just walking. He looks like he's going to he's walking away from having put gas in his car or he's getting ready to walk into the store. And the BM guy, okay, he walks up and he just lays into a big punch. And so, guess what? Redneck's not going to have it. And they start wrestling. I should say they're wrestling, huh? They're wrestling on the ground. And somebody keeps videotaping it. And now these things kind of, I always think about, okay, if you're videotaping, why aren't you calling the police or somebody? Why do you just keep videotaping it, right? So they start wrestling on the ground. And guess what? Redneck's not going to have it, man. All of a sudden, he's on top of this dude, and he's just whapping him, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, that serves you right. It serves you right. Who do you think you are? You can just slug somebody out. Be careful, because you might think they're a weak person or they can't handle themselves. And guess what? Maybe they can. Maybe my nephew-in-law, Charlie, taught them Krav Maga. And you know what? You can be a world of trouble, because you might think it's a little person, somebody my size, and they will take you down. So I'm just giving you fair warning. You just never know. So if I can figure out a way, I'm going to ask Julian if he can show me how to put that on the Chips and Salsa Facebook page, or maybe I can find it on YouTube. All right, it's already time to go to another break, but please don't go away. We're going to come back with the last segment of the Chips and Salsa Show, and I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Alice Lara going solo here on the Chips and Salsa Show on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. We'll be back to walk on some more.
This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcast. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rod goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F. Face drooping. A. Arm weakness. S. Speech difficulty. T. Time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Tell the world I see with an emoji to stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
When you hear In the Booth with Jim Bunner,
basically, it just seems as if no matter what Donald Trump does, he tries to tout a potential vaccine for this terrible disease. You just can't do anything right.
then you are home. The Valley's News Talk and Podcast. Talk Central Phoenix.
It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show. Vámonos.
I love chips and salsa. Can I listen too?
You got it. Take it away. Yes, sir.
We love chips and salsa. And yes, you can listen too. I don't care if you're Latino or what color you are. I don't even care if you might be a Democrat. You might be on the left, and that's okay. I'm Alice Lara. You are listening to the last segment of the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. And to save me for the last segment, Jim Bunner with In the Booth.
I showed up. I'm here. You got somebody else on the show with you today.
Yay! I'm so glad. You know, we should have you on like the last few minutes anyway, so you could promote your show.
Well,
do that.
Yeah, that's possible. But you usually have some pretty good guests on. We could just keep your guests going until the end of the show.
Right on. Okay, so your show is on at 7.
Yep.
Right?
Or no, it's at 6.
Oh,
I'm on in an hour and 15 minutes. That's when I'm going to be on.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So just stay tuned. And do you have a guest tonight on your show?
I'm supposed to have Josh Barnett coming in.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about some things that some people have been doing to resist some of the shutdown orders over this COVID-19. I guess Josh had been taking part in some of helping some businesses kind of get around some of the rules and the regulations that have been taking place. We're going to hear from him. And you know what, Alice? Speaking of what else I've got coming up on my show, you and I are about to kill each other.
Oh, we are? We're going to kill each other?
Yeah, we're not wearing our masks, and I don't think we're 6 feet apart either.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're both going to die. Oh. Well, no, actually, it's funny because the CDC just came out with new information about the actual deaths from the coronavirus, and apparently everybody's making such a big screaming deal about 180,000 coronavirus deaths, and this horrible disease has just killed everybody. Well, as it so turns out, 94% of these deaths were caused by something other than coronavirus. There was some other underlying health issue. Only 6% of people who were listed as coronavirus deaths this year have actually been people who died from coronavirus.
From the China virus. And I'm so glad you mentioned that at the beginning of the show, and you wouldn't know because you didn't listen to it. But I posted an article about that on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And they said, nope, that's inaccurate information when that's been all over the place.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Yeah, we all love our fact checkers on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Jiminy Christmas. But no, actually, a majority of the people, overwhelming majority of people who have died of this coronavirus didn't actually die from it. There was another underlying health issue, and some of us take a look at some of the CDC information and we're just kind of wondering, okay, what did we just upend our entire lives for all year long? Why did we do this?
Businesses have died.
Oh, gee,
I haven't gone to New Mexico to see my family since Christmas, just about, because usually we go, during the year.
Mm-hmm.
And kids in school, everything, like you're right, totally upended. The world's been upended in our universe. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, yeah, businesses have died. My family owns a home in Alaska, and usually what we do is once we fly up to Anchorage, we'll fly another business. It's called Raven, Alaska, where they have just a little airplane where they'll fly you from Anchorage down to the Kenai Peninsula. Raven, Alaska just went out of business. Now you have to drive 3 hours from Anchorage all the way down to the Kenai Peninsula. Otherwise, you could fly 15 minutes. No, that one just went out of business. It's gone.
Awful.
It's dead in the ground.
That's so ridiculous.
Yes.
And then and the thing is, how do they come back? Can they come back?
Well, we don't have a magic wand, remember?
Wow.
Yeah, come on. Businesses will come back. People will find a way to recover from all of this. But you know what?
It's going to be so hard when it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be this way.
Well, but you know what I was thinking of? There was a Facebook discussion that I was engaging in, and another talk show host's Facebook, and I'm not going to mention the name because we don't want to give free airtime to somebody else.
Right.
But there was another talk show host who I was talking to some people right here in the Phoenix area online, and we all just kind of agreed, you know what, all of this nonsense is just going to keep going on until all of us get together and just start burning our masks in front of the governor's house.
I saw that post. People were like, yeah, that's a great idea, Jim, like a bra burning. That would be so awesome.
Well, people agreed with me on that.
Yeah, they wanted to do it. And have you organized that yet, Jim?
No, nope, I haven't gotten around to that.
I think it's such a great idea because, and people rewear their dirty masks and their paper and stuff. They shouldn't do that. They should burn them anyway. So I think that'd be great and symbolic. Kill two birds with one stone. You could put messages on the mask as you burn them and do that.
We could do it on the Super Bowl so that we could show the NFL that we're not watching their games.
So when did you quit doing football stuff? Were you a big football fan?
I loved football. I loved the NFL. I absolutely loved it. I planned every Sunday. Well, as a matter of fact, every Sunday and Saturday around it. But now the pro sports are doing this nonsense where, we know what they're doing. All this ridiculousness. So of course I'm not watching, and apparently we don't get to watch college sports. Because they're worried about the college kids getting COVID-19. So even though the college kids are not the ones who are kneeling for the flag or supporting Black Lives Matter or whatever they're doing, we don't actually get to watch the college sports. And that's kind of a mess. So,
Jim, I'm going to segue just a little bit because I'm glad you brought up college. Maybe you know about this already, but my friend Rick with College Republicans United, now he's graduated already from ASU, but he still helps that group. Mm-hmm. And there was a letter that came out, I believe it was last week, from the president, Michael Crow. And essentially it said, okay, you're a student at ASU, but if you even are off campus and you aren't wearing a mask, we can suspend you. Because he said they were going to they usually have their meetings, and they were told about that. So I said, well, why don't you go, and you could have it at the Latinos for Trump Center. He says, there's still a problem. Because if we have it there and they don't have the mask, now he's not I don't think he's a student anymore, but if some of the students go there and they don't have the mask, subject to suspension. And I'm thinking, okay, first of all, they're going to have to find you, they're going to have to hunt you down and track you down. But really, I mean, that's some of the stuff that we've come to.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
I mean, can we be talking about Eighth Amendment rights here? It's just... Yeah, that is entirely too extreme. I mean, not wearing a mask. And some of these, there's other places that have had absurd rules like this. I think Indiana had something just very extreme, 6 months behind bars and like a $2,500 fine in Indiana, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
$2,500.
I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on it.
You could be right. Germany's charging, isn't it? I didn't read that Germany is going to charge if you didn't have your mask on.
Yeah, and you know what? Berlin is my favorite city in Europe, and they just became my favorite city in Europe again because there were big, huge crowds of people protesting this nonsense in Berlin. It was great.
That's very American of them. right?
Yeah, you see why I love Berlin so much. It's not just the Berliner Dome, and it's not just the fact that I met my favorite singer there for the second time.
Who's your favorite singer?
Nena. I play a lot of her music on my show.
Oh, do you? Oh, yes. Okay. I think I know. I actually think I know who that is.
Really? You're like the only American who knows who Nena is.
Kind of like, she do like kind of a disco dance stuff?
No, she does classic rock.
Okay, then maybe I'm confusing her with somebody else.
She does the 99 Red Balloons.
Nice. Red's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Oh, that's good. All right, so I really appreciate you bailing me out here because, Jim does a great job. If you haven't ever listened to Jim, he's all by himself. And he does a fantastic job, and it takes a special person to do it. I'm spoiled. I'm used to having George here, another guest. I'm not the solo person. I would never be able to be a female Rush. So I really appreciate you coming out. Okay, what are you going to talk about? We're down to our last 40 seconds. What are you going to talk about in your show?
All right, we have got people resisting the shutdown orders. We've got the CDC stuff coming out. We have got the aftermath of the RNC. And what else have I got going on? Oh, the stuff going on in Wisconsin, in Kenosha, with the protests.
Oh, yeah.
Judas Priest.
My goodness. And every day, I can't even keep up. Every day there's something else. My husband and I were talking about, well, that shooting or this shooting? It's awful.
Yeah, it's getting
terrible?
to be about like that.
Wow.
There was another one that just took place in L.A., too. Now people are protesting in L.A.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, everybody hang in there. Just hang in there. In about another hour, Jim will be back on, and he'll take you on his adventure in the booth with Jim Bunner. I'm Alice Latta. Thank you for joining me on the Chips and Salsa Show. We guacked on. Thank you, Jim, for coming on.
You bet. Thanks for having me on,
Take care now.
When you need to know, this is Talk Central, a Central City radio station.
Trying again. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox.